In another life, we'd all be talking about The Batman Part 2 this weekend. The sequel was first meant for October 3rd, 2025, only to be repeatedly put off by the Hollywood strikes and other woes. It's now coming October 1st, 2027, and whether it lands that release date or not, fans are waiting with bated breath to learn anything they can about the film. Filming is finally set to kick off this spring. Robert Pattinson returns as Bruce Wayne, juggling this alongside massive projects like Christopher Nolan's Odyssey and Denis Villeneuve's Dune 3. The excitement on set is palpable, and insiders have been buzzing ever since Matt Reeves handed in the script, co-written with Mattson Tomlin. Word is, the studio loved it, and even James Gunn hinted it's something special. Jeffrey Wright recently shared a tease in an interview with Den of Geek, confirming Jim Gordon will have a much bigger role this time. Although he hasn't read the full script, his enthusiasm is clear. It seems like he's ready to step back into the trench coat and that iconic mustache, walking shoulder to shoulder with Batman through Gotham's darkness. Reeves has kept most of the story tightly under wraps, but what we do know is that this movie will directly connect with the ending of the Penguin series. Colin Farrell is returning as Oz, though how much he influences the main plot is still a mystery. Between that and the first film's $770 million global haul and glowing critical reception, fans have every reason to anticipate a sequel that's worth the wait. While plot details are scarce, speculation runs wild. A lot of buzz suggested Robin might show up, sparked by early drafts and journalist leaks, but James Gunn has shut that down, reminding fans only a select few have seen the final script, so don't expect the boy wonder to swing in just yet. The bigger question looming over Part 2 is who will be the main villain? Gotham's rogues gallery is packed, and Reeves has plenty of options. Theories circulating online point to 3 heavy hitters: Hush, Court of Owls, and a Mr. Freeze. Matt Reeves has shown interest in exploring Freeze, blending tragic motivation with a grounded Gotham feel. Could Freeze offer a darker, more emotional turn while keeping the film's gritty realism? Possibly. If Reeves goes the Heart of Ice route, we could see Victor Freeze step in as a tragic, emotionally charged villain, which would seriously ramp up the sequel's dramatic weight while still matching the tone of the first movie. Done right, Freeze's arc could hit some real emotional notes. Hush also feels like the most organic next step. The first movie dropped plenty of breadcrumbs that could lead straight to him. In the comics, Tommy Elliot is Bruce Wayne's childhood friend turned surgeon who becomes the masked villain Hush after harboring deep resentment. Since the first part already dug into the Wayne family's dark secrets, introducing Hush would hit Bruce where it hurts, emotionally and psychologically. Rumors even suggest Dan Stevens is being eyed for the role. It's not confirmed, of course, it could just be wishful fan casting, but the fact that people are already buzzing about it shows how ready audiences are for this story. Then there's the Court of Owls, arguably the perfect fit for Reevesverse. Modern, secretive, and chillingly believable. The first movie built a city dripping with corruption and old money, where the renewal fund served as a front for laundering and power plays. That's the kind of setting where the court would thrive. Gotham's elite turned into a secret council controlling the city through bribes, blackmail, and blood. They don't even require a supernatural twist. The conspiracy could be treated as the natural evolution of Riddler's revelations. All the pieces are already there. The Wayne Orphanage, the Renewal Fund, Martha's Arkham background, it all ties Bruce directly to Gotham's oldest and dirtiest history. Maybe the court has been pulling the strings for decades, siphoning renewal money to stay in power. If the court has been siphoning renewal money for decades, they're the invisible winners of exactly the system Riddler uncovered. With Falcone gone, Penguin's scrambling to claim the power vacuum, and that's when the court steps in, propping up some gangs, cutting off others, quietly deciding who holds the crown. Penguin's rise becomes the perfect smokescreen for something far bigger, while Bruce thinks he's chasing another mob war, only to walk straight into a civic autopsy that reveals Gotham's real puppets. From a story standpoint, the court adds an elegant kind of danger. Their talons wouldn't be immortal assassins here, just elite killers, ex-Black Ops operatives kept alive with brutal methods and maybe a touch of experimental cryotech, a nod to the Elektra myth. That setup could lead to some incredible visuals: a Talon stalking Bruce through an abandoned museum, a deadly ambush in an old theater's rafters, or a silent fight inside a frozen archive beneath City Hall. It would all play like a darker, more paranoid detective thriller than the first film. Thematically, the court pushes Bruce in a different direction. While Hush attacks Bruce's personal life, the court threatens his entire legacy. The first film shattered the illusion of the Waynes as flawless heroes. Part 2 could go even further, questioning whether Gotham is even worth saving if its foundation is corrupt to the core. That realization would force Bruce to evolve, learning to fight systems, not just street crime. He'd have to infiltrate high society, weaponize his billionaire persona, and strike at Gotham's power structure from within. Joker still lingers in the background, representing chaos itself, but that's exactly why Reeves should save him for later. The court represents twisted order, the perfect counterbalance to Joker's anarchy. Let the sequel expose Gotham's machinery of control and save the Joker for Part 3, when everything collapses. Barry Keoghan's version of the character is tailor-made for that escalation, a city trying to reform itself while a madman thrives on its chaos. Meanwhile, Gordon's bigger role would add depth to the story's moral tension. He'd find himself tangled in a police department compromised from the inside, while Bruce learns to build allies instead of working alone. Selina fits naturally into this mix too. She doesn't care about the elite, but she'd absolutely care if the court starts preying on the Narrows again. That gives her and Bruce a shared purpose, even if they still clash on methods. Beyond the main villains, one of the most exciting things fans are speculating about is how Reeves might expand Gotham itself. The first movie leaned heavily into the noir, rain-soaked streets, and the underbelly of the city, but Part 2 could finally give us a wider Gotham playground. Think abandoned subway tunnels, industrial districts crawling with gangs, and towering corporate skyscrapers hiding dirty secrets. Visual storytelling could play a huge role here. Gotham almost becomes a character in itself, full of shadowy corners and moral gray zones where every alleyway could hide clues or threats. Another cool angle Reeves could explore is Gotham during the snowy Christmas. Imagine the city decked out in lights, snow falling over rooftops, but with that same grim, noir vibe. In the comics from DC, holiday settings often set up some of Batman's most memorable confrontations, like festive heists, seasonal crimes, or chilling showdowns under snow-covered streets. Reeves could finally bring that visual contrast to life, the warmth of Christmas lights against the darkness of Gotham, creating a striking backdrop for both action and suspense, while giving fans a nod to the classic comics that used the holidays to amplify tension. Also, fans are buzzing about how Batman's gadgetry might evolve. Part 1 was fairly grounded, but the upcoming movie could push it into new territory. Some rumors suggest a sleeker, more tactical Batmobile and even prototypes of tech that leans into smart devices gathering rather than brute force. This could give Reeves a chance to explore Bruce as a detective in a much more cinematic way, where the stakes aren't just physical, but strategic, forcing him to outthink Gotham's hidden operators instead of just punching them. There's also the question of the Riddler's aftermath. The first film ended with him behind bars, but his influence isn't gone. Some theories suggest his legacy might linger in Part 2 through his hidden clues, puzzles, or propaganda planted around the city. Something only Bruce or even Gordon would pick up on. This could create a tense, layered narrative where Riddler's shadow guides both Batman and the Court of Owls' actions, weaving past and present crimes into a single web of paranoia and intrigue. Finally, there's the potential for deeper personal stakes. Selina's involvement is established, but what if Part 2 pushes their dynamic further, introducing moral dilemmas and choices that test Bruce's code? Maybe Selina faces a threat that forces Batman to decide between protecting her or staying focused on the larger mission. Reeves could use this to balance action with character-driven storytelling, exploring what Gotham demands from its heroes and what it costs them personally.